So in the last page of the previous chapter, Aizen's name was mentioned. In the final page of this week's chapter, he's already started mind-fucking. Just what you expect from the King of Trolls. Hey guys, LunarSpawn27 here, bringing you Bleach, chapter 617, Return of the God. So the chapter begins with a good color page featuring Aizen sealed onto these three pillars. He's got these spears stabbed onto his shoulders, and he's got leather straps wrapped all over his body. We cut back to Ukitake, who's still undergoing the Kamikake, as even more of the shadowy black substance, again, I really don't know what this stuff is, emerges from every single opening from Ukitake's face, as Mimihagi-sama rises towards the Soul King's palace. Thanks to Ukitake, the earthquake stopped. Meanwhile, back at the Soul King's palace, everyone was surprised to see Mimihagi-sama holding on to and connecting the now two pieces of the Soul King, including Yhwach. Apparently, Stern Reacher A, the Quincy King, the Almighty, with his all-seeing eyes that can foresee anything and everything into the future, did not foresee the right arm of the Soul King. Yeah, his I can see the future eyes of his isn't all that's cracked up to be. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't foresee the return of Aizen, but I'll get to that later. So Yhwach yells at Mimihagi-sama, asking why the right arm of the Soul King would interfere in his affair, if this was the Soul King's plan to protect Soul Society. You know, we all know that Yhwach wants to kill the Soul King, even though his reasons as to why are currently unknown. So what is stopping him now? He can easily get out of Yoruichi's trap and kill the Soul King again, this time killing Mimihagi-sama. Sure, Ichigo and the others are there, but knowing Yhwach, he can pull off a couple tricks to defeat them, or call upon his elite guards to deal with them so that nobody will stop him from killing the Soul King again. Back with the Shinigami, Ukitake's face is now completely covered by the black shadowy substance, so Ifan wonders how long he'll last, because according to her, Ukitake hasn't become a complete substitute for the Soul King. The stabilizing will last until Ukitake's life force is completely drained. However, this was one thing that Keisuke Urahara himself doesn't know. He doesn't know how long Ukitake will last, and this was the first time he's ever heard and witnessed the Kamikake. But what he does know is that while Ukitake is the temporary substitute for the Soul King, they have to hurry and get to the Soul King's palace. So Ukitake is not going to replace the Soul King. He's just going to be a temporary substitute. It really sucks that Ukitake is just sacrificing himself to stabilize Soul Society and the rest of the worlds. But if he did become the new Soul King, then that would have easily solved the apocalypse. So if this was temporary, then they have to figure out a more permanent solution to stabilize Soul Society and the rest of the worlds. Most likely finding a permanent replacement, unless there was some other way that we aren't aware of. Meanwhile with Shinsui, he's still having his conversation with Aizen as he pulls out a box set of keys that will release Aizen's seals. However, he was only given permission by Central 46 to use 3 of them, so he'll use the first key to release the seal for his mouth. Meanwhile, the gateway dematerialized because all the gathered Shinigami didn't have enough Ryatsu. The one that possessed the most amounts of Ryatsu was Ukitake, and now that he's out of commission, they don't have enough to sustain the gate. However, the rest of the Visors return, now in their Shihak shows, and demand to be given their orbs. So you think with all the gathered Shinigami and the Visors, it would be enough Ryatsu for the gate? Well, Mayuri and Nemu show up, and he tells them if they needed large amounts of Ryatsu, then they could have used his Ryatsu amplification machine. A machine that would have came in handy earlier and not once said anything about it. Well, Mayuri does have a reason for that, and it was because he didn't think the entire situation would get out of hand. You know, if Mayuri mentioned this sooner, this would have saved us a lot of time. Also, it's already out of hand when all the worlds in Bleach are about to collapse. Anyway, it works, and this time, hopefully next week, they will go to the Soul King's palace. No more interruptions, no more other things that they have to do, just head on to the Soul King's palace. Back with Shinsui, he unsealed Aizen's mouth, but even though he released one seal, the rest of Aizen's seals were undone. He emerges from the shadows, and the chapter ends with him asking, What's wrong? There are still 2 keys left for you to use, are there not? He's in the last 2 pages of this chapter and he's already screwing with Shunsui. Man, he really is the king of trolls. So yeah, that is Bleach chapter 617. What did I think? Honestly, I thought this chapter was good. I did find it funny that Yhwach's all-seeing eyes did not foresee the Kamikage, which makes me wonder how far into the future can his all-seeing eyes see? I'm still a bit bummed that Ukitake is sacrificing himself to just be a temporary substitute, so he's not going to be the replacement for the Soul King. Which still makes me think that either Ichigo or Aizen will be the permanent replacement for the Soul King. But then again, we don't know how one becomes the Soul King, so maybe we'll learn how the process works in the next couple of chapters, or there might be another solution to maintain the stability of all these worlds. However, there was one part I didn't like about this chapter, and it was the second part of the gathered Shinigami. Now, I did like the visors showing up, helping them by using their Ryatsu, but the fact that Mayuri conveniently had an invention that can amplify Ryatsu kind of made it a bit pointless, especially when Mayuri didn't even mention about this machine earlier. It's just that if it was mentioned earlier, it would have saved a lot more time. And then there were the scenes with Aizen. Even though they were short, they were the best parts of the chapter. I really can't believe that removing one seal, just removing the seal on his mouth, was enough for Aizen to remove the rest of his seals. But then again, this is Sosuke freaking Aizen we're talking about here, so yeah. However, the question is, how did he remove his seals? In the color page, he was bound, so none of his seals were removed. So he wasn't unsealed by Yhwach in the previous invasion, so he must have been sealed until Shunsui removed the first seal. Maybe it's got something to do with the Hokyoku, which I believe is still inside his body, or maybe it's Kyoka Suigetsu. Although, if I recall, his Zanpakuto was broken, but I did hear that Kyoka Suigetsu did fuse with Aizen, so I don't know if he can still use Kyoka Suigetsu. I'm still not sure about that, but maybe I'm putting too much thought into this. Now, I know a lot of people are really hyped for Aizen's return, and even though I really was looking forward to seeing him again, I'm still a bit hesitant because we all remembered what happened in Dai's side, so we'll just have to wait and see what Aizen is going to do. Although, I do wonder what's going to happen after all this is done. I mean, what is Aizen going to do? I know he's going to help out Ichigo and the others, but he might have some sort of hidden agenda, or he might become the main villain again. Who knows, but we'll just have to wait and see until next week. So tell me guys, what do you think of this week's chapter of Bleach? Did you like it? Did you hate it? What do you think of Aizen's return, and any ideas on what he's going to do or any ulterior motives he has? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like the video if you like it and subscribe for more videos, and be sure to check out my Facebook fan page and Google+. So yeah, that is Bleach chapter 617. I'm LunarSpawn27, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.